Hello, children, I see you. I'm very happy to see you. Greet your family, boogie on down. Give a clap and turn around. My name is Wendy, and we're going to learn about mighty ants. So, ants are insects, and they have, and I'm going to grab things to be able to demonstrate 3 body parts. So we're going to call this a head and a thorax and an abdomen. So they have 3 body parts. They also have, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs, and they have 2 elbowed antenna. Can you find your elbow and tap it? They have 2 elbowed on antenna. They have 2 big eyes, which are what we call compound eyes. There's a fancy word for the little parts of it called ommatidia. And they look, and I'm going to see if you can see, like lots of little tiny eyes. And those eyes detect motion, but they also have 1, 2, 3 small eyes that act a little bit like a compass directing them. Their legs have 3 parts, 1, 2, 3, and they're jointed because they're what we call arthropods, which means they have jointed legs and segmented bodies. And they have a comb, or sometimes it looks more like a brush, to clean their antennae, because they need those clean, because that's where they do their feeling and their smelling and their communicating. So we need those antennae in good shape. So here's our elbowed antenna to remind us of the shape of it. And they also have hooks, and those help them climb. So there's a hook. They have grinding and tearing and chewing mouth parts. So I've got this grinder here, and they use those for eating, sometimes even crushing mouth parts, like I could crush it like that. So let's look at what an ant looks like, and then we're going to talk about how they sense things. So this, I did not want to have a real ant, but this is a real ant in some plastic, and so you can see the ant there. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about their bodies, and we'll find them in our bodies, but let's look at this ant. So it has a head, a thorax, an abdomen. Let's count the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 antennae. 1, 2. They also have, look here, very carefully. So between their thorax and their abdomen, they have something called a, big word alert, petiole, like a waist. So let's see if we can find those parts. We have our head. Can you find your head? We have our thorax, sort of like a chest. Then your tummy, mine's way down here, which is like sort of like an abdomen. And then put your hands around your waist, and that's the petiole. But we don't have 6 legs. We only have 2 legs. So they also have a different kind of skeleton. So feel your forehead. And can you feel there's soft skin over the bone on your forehead? How about in your elbow? Soft skin, and your knee way down low. So our bones are under our soft skin, but ants have what's called, big brain word, exoskeleton. That means that their skeleton is on the outside, not on the inside like ours. So ants' hard parts are on the outside. Let's talk a little bit about two of the ways that ants communicate and get information. So we said they do have eyes, but they actually rely a lot more on, remember what this is? Vibration. And we all know about hand sanitizer, and it has a scent and smell. So they rely on that to get a lot of their information. When they want to communicate, some of it they communicate by putting out chemicals with different smell signals. Sometimes they communicate. I'm going to pretend I'm touching your fingers by touching their antenna. Ants live in a colony where they have lots of different jobs. So here are some of the jobs we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the nurse, the food gatherer. They also chew the seeds and then take the husks out. The queen, the protector, the drone or the daddy, and the different kinds of builders and diggers. So ants have a queen. Here I am with my crown on. And the queen lays the eggs and makes the babies and also does a lot of the communicating to keep the ants organized. So that's the queen, is like a mommy. Then we have workers. Here's my hammer. And some of them are nest builders and some of them are tunnel diggers, because ants make tunnels most of the time. Now, ants live in a lot of different ways, but in a lot of ants in anthills make tunnels. Some ants have the role of being like a babysitter or a nanny or a daycare worker. So here's my little baby cup to remind us of that. Some of the ants do the food preparation, like the cooking. So they do the chewing and they use digestive systems to make the food. So some ants do that. So here we have, remember we said the queen is like a mommy that makes the babies. But we also have daddy ants, which we call drones, and they are ones that will have wings. New queens will have wings if they're going out to start a new anthill. And so this is our daddy. And then we have food collectors. So I have a basket and a lunch bag to make lunch for an ant. And we have some ants that keep everything clean. So if you've ever seen an anthill, well, that means some ant has taken all of the loose dirt from digging tunnels and piled it up on top, and that makes the anthill. And then, can you see this crossing guard and this policeman? So some ants are protectors and defenders of the anthill, because there are things that may go after ants. So there's lots of different roles that ants can have, and it depends on their age, what they start with. Now, and then in general, the ones that start work within the anthill, and the ones that go out and protect are when they're older. So we're going to sing a song, and it's about ants moving. So let me pull this out to show you. So here's our song. You can see the anthill and the ants, and it goes like this. So get your fingers ready to move, because we're going to be lots of ants. Oh, the ants are moving, moving all about. All the ants are moving, moving all about. digging tunnels, gathering food, protecting, caring for the brood. Oh, the ants are moving all about. And now we are going to learn a little bit more about ants. I'm going to show you some more pictures. So we said that they have jointed legs, which you can see right here, and that they have mandibles and big eyes. And you can see from the side view that is elbow antennae. You can see them also in this picture. And you can see how they're using the antenna to sense. Remember, we said we had to keep them really clean with those combs. Also, ants go through complete metamorphosis. So first they're eggs, and then they're larvae. Where are my larvae? There we go. And then they are pupae. Here's a picture of what ants look like when they're communicating. Can you see them touching those antennae together? And here's a picture of an anthill, and it shows you like eggs are here, and they're digging tunnels here, and they're bringing a leaf here. There's different ways that ants make places to live. We're going to do a finger play because ants are social insects. That means they work together. Remember, we said they had all those different jobs, and the queen sort of helps coordinate the communication. So we're going to do a finger play to remind us that ants are social and live in a colony. So ants live together. Let's put them together. 1, 2, 3. Ants live in a colony. And remember, we talked about the different parts in ants' body. So let's see if we can remember those with a song. So it goes like this. Head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. Let's put out 6 legs. 6 legs. Whoops, some wings. Can you put your wings on? Exoskeleton. Remember, that's all those bones under the skin that we have under our skin, but they have exo outside their soft parts. Head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. Head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. Remember, we said they had 2 big eyes? Big eyes, small size, because you've seen ants, they're pretty tiny. 2 antennae, 2. Head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. So we're going to read, there's several. If you go to the website and look up the Family Nature Guides, we have lots of different stories, but I'm going to read some of them to you today. So this is Mighty Ants. It says, ants live together. 1, 2, 3. Here's our 1, 2, 3 ants. Ants live in a colony. This is a true story from Hardberger Park. And it goes like this. Once there was, this is an ant that I saw in Hardberger Park. Once there was a very busy ant who tried to find a way out of the plant. Can you see the ant searching? Looking all around, up and sideways and upside down, so you can find your ant story at Hardberger Park. We also have a story online that you can print out called the Ant Chant that has even more ant information. Now I'm going to show you some of my favorite ant books. I really like Hey Little Ant because it takes the ant's point of view. How would you like to be an ant and everybody wants to stamp on you? How would you feel? So it's a really neat book, and I really like the way it shows that if you were an ant, if you were an ant and the person was very small, how would that person feel? So it's a neat book for thinking about how all of our living things are special. They have roles and they're protected. This book, Ant Cities, is very good for showing you how ant cities are organized in an anthill. So that's more of a science book. And then ants we find in lots of folklore. So you may know, remember we sang a song about the ants are moving all about? Ants are very busy. And this is a story about the ant and the grasshopper that's in folklore. Now I am going to show you some of the things that we can do to learn more about ants. So you can be an ant investigator. Can you find an ant on a leaf or a stone or a log? Maybe you can roll over the stone or the log, but be very careful. Remember those mandibles for chewing and tearing and crushing? So you want to do that carefully with a grown-up to make sure that you aren't getting those mandibles. We also can do, and I cut out lots of little pictures of ants, and I made a Let's Go collecting bag. You can see I have a collecting net there and pictures of ants. I cut out the pictures and I made the bag so you can hide ants around your house and then have somebody find them. So you can do that as well. We also have lots of ant snacks to help you learn how ants work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got a plate here and I'm going to cut up this banana. So I'm going to take the top part, and if I turn it around this way, it's going to be the ant head. Then I want to make a little thorax. So here's my nice little thorax. And then I'm going to do this nice long end is going to be the abdomen. So part of it broke off, so I have to put it back together. So that's going to be the abdomen for the ant. So we'll cut part of it off, and that's going to be the abdomen. So we can make a banana ant. We can also make ants climbing on leaves. I have some cabbage here to be the leaves, or on a stick. So I have a pretzel here, but now I'm going to show you, I'm going to move these out of the way and show you some different ways that I made ants, mainly to help you remember the parts of ants. So I like using candies for that. So we're going to hope they didn't all melt. And here we go. So this ant, you can see, it's got the elbowed antenna and the big eyes, head, thorax, abdomen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. So that's one kind of ant. I did it another way because I wanted to just show you that there are lots of ways of doing it. So here are the eyes, the elbowed antenna, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs, head, shoulder, abdomen. So that's another way. Also, oh my goodness, my aunt lost one of his antennae. So 2 antennae up there, there are the eyes, there are the 6 legs, there are the 3 body parts, head, shoulder, head, thorax, abdomen. And let's see, because I have some other ways that I made ants, so I'm going to get them out to show different things to help you, because I think it's really easy to remember candy. So I made lots of things with candy. So this one I made with little chocolate chips. That's ants on an anthill. And this one is to remind us that they have complete metamorphosis. That means they change from eggs to a larva, to a pupa, to an adult ant. So egg, larva, pupa, adult ant. So that's another thing that you can do. You can make the different parts of ants. Remember, we said that they have 2 antennae. You can see those at the end, and 2 big eyes. And then they have the small eyes. And we have the different body parts. So we have the thorax and the abdomen, and lots of pretzels to be the different legs or antennae. We can also make, let me grab my plate. Here we go. We can make a pheromone trail for ants to follow. So I'm going to take some honey and make a pheromone trail. And then I can take any of the different things that I've been using to make ant snacks. So I'm going to take, see where that has gone. There we go. So I'm going to take some of these little pieces of licorice, and I'm going to show you in a second. I'm putting them on the pheromone trail. And that's an easy ant snack to do. So the pheromone is the smell trail. So here you can see the ants on the smell trail. Now we can also make a smell trail for our walk. So we can take, this is apple scented spray, and we can spray it and pretend that we're ants following a smell trail like ants do. Now, so here's a picture of some of the different things I used to make ant snacks, but these are teaching snacks to help you remember different things about ants. So I have some ant crafts here. I made ants because I'm really into recycling, so I thought I'm going to make ants out of egg cartons. So you can see that we have the big eyes and the antenna and the 6 legs and the 3 body parts. Here I use breads to be the eyes and straws. So there's lots of ways we can make ant crafts, or we could just use Play-Doh, and we could use straws or pipe cleaners and put those in. We can also take our little ant pictures and make an ant pheromone trail on a paper towel roll. And we can take and find an ant picture, and we can design our own ants. So when I designed mine, I wanted to make sure that I put jointed legs and elbowed antenna on my ants. And then I colored in the other one. So there's lots of different kinds of crafts we can do. So let's see if we can remember the 3 major parts of the ants in some of the small parts that go with it. So head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen, 6 legs, some wings, exoskeleton, head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen, big eyes, small size, 2 antenna, 2, head, thorax, abdomen, abdomen. So we learned a little bit about the different parts of ants and how they work. And we learned a little bit about the different roles ants have because they are in a colony, they're a cooperative society. And we learned a little bit about how they develop from eggs to pupa, larva, pupa, and then to the adult. And so now we're going to sing our goodbye song, and I'll be hopefully seeing you in our new program, Story Time, which is in the park once a month, which is a storytelling, story writing, imagination activity with something a little bit added special each time. So remember to thank the Conservancy for providing the resources for us to do all of these activities. There's something all the time in the park, not just in weekends, definitely weekends. We have grab and go, and we have our walks, we have an activity every single weekend, but also all during the week. So shake hands with family, it's time to go. Shake hands with family, it's time to go. Shake hands with family, it's time to go. We hope we'll see you soon at Hardberger Park. Goodbye, children. Goodbye, families. Goodbye, children. We'll see you again next month. Now it's time to wave bye-bye, wave bye-bye, wave bye-bye. Now it's time to wave bye-bye. We'll see you again in the park. Thank you. We've had a wonderful time. There's lots of lessons you can look back on, and all of the materials that you can look at online that go along with the lessons. So I'm going to say goodbye and see you in the park for story time.